Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. We'll begin with our top stories. Panic, shock, and consternation has gripped inhabitants of Melong in the Mongo division after a 22-year-old man killed his 2-year-old daughter with the use of a machete and drank her blood. The incident happened last night at about 8 p.m. and Jinjom village, situated some 15 kilometers from Melong in the Mongo division. Have the details in this edition of Newscast. And as it turns ordinary elective convention of the Social Democratic Front draws closer, 3 candidates will be vying for the post of national chairman. The candidates were made public this day by the party Secretary General in the press conference in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. And bakers in Douala, Cameroon, have been given until October 30, 2023 to be in conformity with the law or will face the wrath of the law. The deadline was given by the Quality and Standards Agency during a capacity workshop in Douala today to upgrade the skills of bakers on conformity procedure, especially as the bakers have been accused of using dangerous substances to produce bread. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. Panic, shock, and consternation has gripped inhabitants of Melong in the Mongo division after a 22-year-old man killed his own 2-year-old daughter with the use of a machete and drank her blood. The incident happened last night at about 8 p.m. and Jinjom village, situated some 15 kilometers from Melong. According to family sources, the killer father, who is just 22 years old, had nursed hopes or ambitions of becoming rich by all costs. The family attribute their son's action to an occultic organization which he belonged to. We'll have more in subsequent editions of Newscasts. And we stay in Melong in the Mongo division, where security officers have arrested several persons linked to constant robbery attack in that area. At the same time, other articles like motorcycles, guns, drugs, and other dangerous weapons were equally seized from individuals. More on the stories are student journalist on internship, Christy IRA.
A stockpile containing ammunition, bladed weapons, television, motorcycles, and drugs was the focus of a targeted operation conducted by the National Gendarmerie in Melong, October 15, 2023. During the operation, we were able to seize all these objects. A group of 100 law enforcement officers has been assigned to maintain law and order. Security is now the top priority.
Il faut que les malfaiteurs
The criminals need to change their occupation because our primary focus is on ensuring security, and all criminals will encounter law enforcement authorities along their path. Being a criminal is not a career, it's a path that inevitably leads to prison.
C'est un métier qui vous amène tout droit en prison.
The security of the neighborhood now rests in the hands of its residents, who are being called upon to collaborate with the military in order to maintain law and order.
Les populations elles-mêmes doivent contribuer.
The population themselves need to contribute in their own personal security by denouncing any suspect, thieves who are in the neighborhood. Some identified individuals who were arrested during the operation have been released, while those found in possession of illegal objects will face the consequences.
The supposed gang of thieves have been a thorn to the flesh of Yaoundé city dwellers, transporting victims with these taxis.
And we take you to the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, where gangs specialized in robbing people on board taxis have been apprehended by the police. The presumed armed robbers were today presented to the public as the police authorities call for more vigilance and collaboration from the population to fish out more of such hidden culprits. More with our reporter, Hysen Cha.
The supposed gang of thieves have been a thorn to the flesh of Yaoundé city dwellers, transporting victims with these taxis to unknown destinations throughout the night, molesting them and collecting money and other valuable items. A well-armed group with killer weapons. They have real guns and other weapons. Just from the few victims that have reported, we are on over 10 million CFA francs. We understand that this gang works with another. When they operate heavily, they halt for some days. Their victims are countless, with many having lost a huge fortune.
Immediately they just seized the light from the taxi. They put off the light in the taxi, and then the man in front was trying to block the back seat door. They took us now right into Elundem 2. While in the taxi, they were now searching us. They took our bags, they took our phones. They transferred the 65,000 I had in my phone into another phone. Because when they were taking my Momo code, there was a knife. The man that was sitting, he now put a knife that don't look code. As I gave the code now, they now transfer the money. And then they search our bags, the 15,000 in my pocket, they took. And as they were searching us, they now felt the 2 million that I had, the 4 million, because I had 2 million. They now felt and then they removed everything.
Not only that, they were equally trashed mercilessly by the cruel individuals. And presenting the culprits to the public, this October 17, the head of the Yaoundé Central Police Station No. 4 cautioned the population to be extra vigilant when boarding a taxi in the city of Yaoundé at night, avoiding taxis without plates, no door numbers.
And officials of the Bonaberi Customs Brigade in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, have seized a consignment of drugs from smugglers. The incident happens over the weekend. As a reporter, Kizi Kiga tells us more.
This is the consignment of the contraband drug by elements of the Mobile Customs Brigade in Douala. According to customs officers who executed the operation, smugglers, presumably from Nigeria, were surprised in the early hours of Friday, October 13, 2023.
Dans la nuit de vendredi,
Friday came with a canoe at around 4 in the morning. We waited them to offload before we could get them. Unfortunately, they fell into the water and abandoned the drugs. The seized contraband medical products encompassed a wide range of pharmaceuticals products which are dangerous to health. After the total consignment seized is estimated at about 1.5 tons. The goods are now at the customs headquarters, including the canoe and the outboard engine. These medicines seized will be destroyed later. The minister, during a campaign last week, has advised Cameroonians to be careful with the medicines because all the medicines at the roadside are not of good quality. The custom officer has called on the local population around such vicinities to cooperate with them and avoid roadside drugs in order to fight against the phenomenon. The population in these risk vicinities should always collaborate with us so that we can catch these smugglers. We are reminded that it is one of the biggest seizures of this kind.
And a network of supposed dealers in fake land titles or the documents and stamps have been nabbed by the elements of the affected population. Beatrice Ngamo completes that story for us.
These three are the members of a supposed vast network of dealers in fake official documents. For over 7 years, they've been waxing well in this business. The proposal of land-like title they offer their clients.
On peut vous proposer du terrain et puis, comme vous voyez, le titre foncier semble authentique. Ça devient un problème d'arnaque. On vous prend de l'argent pensant que les documents sont bons.
Facilitating travel abroad, this order does so well. After scanning documents, they complete the online visas for their clients.
When they come to us for visa, we normally demand a certain fee of 250,000 francs, and then after the invitation letter, we do the compilation of other documents which are being demanded by the embassy to prove that you are well grounded here in your country, and that you go and then you return back to your country after the end of your program.
Face-to-face operation with the clients, they say.
The authentic documents, passports, authentic passports. We meet with our clients face-to-face. The clients, they have our numbers, they have my number, they call, so we meet. We talk. I tell them how we operate.
One of them explained that the person who introduced him in the business is the one who had all the stamps, and he just added some few. It is the complaint and denunciation from the population that led to investigation. The first was caught at Colmesen in Yaoundé. In his car, some of these documents on display. His exploitation led to the second, and so the chain. Others are still on the run. Their clients are also in hiding. The gendarme is calling on the population to be very vigilant, to denounce doubtful situations, and make sure they verify the authenticity of most documents.
As a 10th ordinary elective convention of the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF draws closer. 3 candidates will vying for the post of national chairman. The candidates were made public this day by the party's Secretary General in a press conference in Yaoundé. Hassan Cha was part of that press conference. His story.
The battle is set as to who will be the next chairman of the Social Democratic Front after the departed legendary Ni John Frunji. 3 candidates embarking on the race: the current vice chairman Joshua Usi, the former Limbe district chair Zama Gordons, and Shewa David Gestel. And apart from Joshua Usi, who wasn't present in today's press conference, the others have expressed their commitment to grab the top position of the party.
We are going to win the elections first, and then we can finally deliver on the huge promise of the SDF. My goal as a candidate and as chairman of the party is to ensure that we take the party back to the base.
I want to tell the delegates of the National Convention that Shewa is the best person that is going to restore this party. I'm going to restore the party. My first plan of action, as I said, is reconciliation.
And before the national and the international press, this October 17, at the Central Regional Party headquarters in Yaoundé, the Secretary General and the Chairman of the Organizing Committee reassured that all is set for the 10th convention.
That preparations are far advanced, and the 10th Ordinary Convention of the Social Democratic Front will definitely take place on the 27th and the 28th of October at the Multipurpose Sports Complex here in Yaoundé.
Unexpected at the historic convention are over 2,000 delegates, friendly political parties in and out of the country, other local and international associations, as well as important personalities. And as outcome, the Yaoundé Convention will produce new NEC members, new leadership, and a new National Advisory Council.
Bakers in Douala have been given up to October 30 this year to be in conformity with the law or face a wrath of the law. A deadline was given by the Quality and Standard Agency during a capacity building workshop today in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, to upgrade the skills of bakers and conformity procedures, especially as the bakers have been accused of using dangerous substances to produce bread. More on the story with our reporter Gladys Abodiba.
To give bread a golden color and make it attractive to consumers, bakers in Cameroon were allegedly using potassium bromate that also apparently increased the weight of the product. The chemical substance and sweeteners like saccharin had all been prohibited in the production of bread. The Standards and Quality Agency had cautioned bakers against its use due to alleged potential carcinogens to humans. I can testify that bakers affiliated to the Bakers Union do not use potassium bromide. We produce quality bread with homologated inputs.
Nous utilisons des intrants, des inputs homologués pour faire du pain.
Du pain fait à base de bromate se retrouve sur le marché.
The use of potassium bromate in the manufacturing of bread is common, and the bread are sold out there in the streets and markets. They need to be sanctioned.
Boulangeries qui sont donc suivies sur le plan sanitaire.
And since a majority of bakeries in Douala operate without certificates of conformity, defy the legal and regulatory requirements, they are being drilled this October 17, 2023 on standards and the general principles of food hygiene, as well as the conformity procedures.
So the aim of that activity was to reinforce their capacity to be sure that by the end of the month of October, the majority of all the stakeholders of that sector will respect the Cameroonian standards concerning bakers.
In the past, the cost of the standard and conformity assessment was quite expensive. That is why many bakers were not in regulation. The quality watchdog, ANO, has dropped down the cost and it made it affordable to all. I assure you, about 80% of all bakers will henceforth have their products certified.
Au moins 80% des boulangers sur le territoire national seront certifiés.
It was also an opportunity for the bakers and stakeholders to exchange on the difficulties bakers face in the exercise of their duties.
And today marks the official resumption of classes for the 2023-2024 academic year in the vocational education sub-section placed under the theme, the development of competence in the face of digital economy in Cameroon. The Minister of Employment and Professional Training, INSUFFICIENT Bakari, called on promoters to ensure they get the training that ties with the job market and development of the country. More in the following story.
The world is evolving. The old traditional methods are fast giving way to modernization. Digitalization, which is imperative for our economy today. Vocational training thus needs to be adapted to this new change. Those in the sector of training needs to master the skills and mechanisms.
I have to make sure that all centers in charge of training in the different vocational training, they are in keeping, in line with the recommendation and the decision made by the government to digitalize our economy. They are in line with the request and the commitment of the government.
The 2023-2024 resumption of professional training is placed under the theme, the development of competence in the face of digital economy in Cameroon. The youths are therefore called upon in their different fields of competent training such as welding, mounting, agriculture, livestock, and many more to take advantage of the opportunities available to move with the time, making sure their services are for a sure market. This, as the role of professional and vocational training in terms of production of goods and wealth, is to enable the country fight against poverty and unemployment. Minister INSUFFICIENT Bakari of Employment and Vocational Training stopped at 2 professional training institutions in Yaoundé to give the green light for the new academic year.
And that report by Beatrice Angamo brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast, the English language and Canal to International. Thanks so much for watching. But coming up next is The Brief with Lil Pijou. As from here, I'll be back same time tomorrow night.